Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that hits close to home for so many families. We're looking at how technology, specifically GPS trackers, can fit into the world of dementia care. Now, I know this is a really personal and sometimes difficult subject, so we're going to walk through it all, the facts, the benefits, and the very real, very human questions that come up. And it really is, isn't it? For the person who's living with it, and for everyone who loves them, it can just feel like this long, confusing goodbye. You have these moments of complete clarity, which are then followed by these frightening periods of disorientation. And that, of course, creates this constant state of worry for caregivers. So, when you see a number like 60%, what does that really mean? Well, it points to something called wandering. It's a sort of aimless movement that happens when someone gets disoriented. And while it might sound pretty harmless, it's actually the core safety concern that brings us to this whole topic of tracking technology in the first place. Now, wandering can, provide a little exercise and even a sense of freedom, but we have to be honest about the risks, and they are profound. When a person with dementia leaves a safe place and gets lost, the situation can get very serious, very quickly. The stakes here are just incredibly high. We're not just talking about being lost, we're talking about the real risk of serious injury from a fall, exposure to bad weather, or dehydration. The emotional toll on families is, of course, immense, and that financial cost? $1,500 an hour for a search. That's just staggering. This is the urgent problem that GPS tech is trying to help solve. So how does this technology actually work as a safety net? Well, at its core, it's pretty simple. It uses GPS signals to pinpoint a person's location in real time. But the real magic, the most powerful feature for caregivers, is something called geofencing. Basically, geofencing lets a caregiver draw a digital safe zone on a map. You can think of it like an invisible fence around the house and the yard or maybe the whole block. And this is what makes it a proactive tool, not just a reactive one. It gives caregivers an extra set of eyes that, never sleep. Okay, so let's walk through how that works in real life. The second your loved one steps outside that boundary you've set, bam, an alert gets sent right to your phone. You can then open an app, see exactly where they are on a map, and step in quickly before a real crisis can happen. The benefits here go way beyond just responding to an emergency. The impact this kind of technology can have on day-to-day life can be absolutely transformative. It helps create this whole new balance between letting someone be independent and making sure they're safe. For caregivers, it can mean finally getting a break from that constant nagging anxiety. But for the person with dementia, especially in those earlier stages, it can mean the freedom to take a walk in the garden or just keep up a familiar routine. And look at this. A Swedish study actually found this tech enhanced their sense of independence, which can help them live safely at home for longer. But, and this is a big but, like a lot of assistive technologies, this one comes with a really serious ethical question. It forces us to confront this very delicate balance between the need for physical safety and the fundamental right to personal freedom. And that really brings us right to the heart of the matter. You have to ask, is this technology being used mainly for the safety and well-being of the person with dementia, or is it more about calming the anxiety of the caregiver? Honestly, the answer is almost never that simple. This is the core tension right here. On one side, you have this undeniable duty to protect a vulnerable person from what could be fatal risks. But on the other side, every adult has a right to their own autonomy, their own privacy, their own dignity. Restricting someone's movement, even if it's just virtually, can make them feel like they're being watched or tagged, and that can be deeply upsetting. Maybe the most helpful way to look at this is to reframe it. Instead of seeing these devices as a form of restraint, what if we see them as a tool that actually enables freedom? They can allow someone to wander, but within a system that keeps them safe. It becomes about accommodating the behavior, not just stopping it. Okay, so if a family weighs all of this and decides, yes, this is the right path for us, how do they pick the right device? Well, the decision really has to be all about the individual, their habits, their comfort, and what stage of dementia they're in. This chart gives us a really great breakdown. A shoe insert, for instance, is totally hidden and pretty much impossible to forget. A watch is familiar, but it's visible, and a keychain or something for a pocket is easy enough to use, but it completely relies on the person remembering to bring it with them. And for someone with memory issues, that's a huge hurdle. The best option is always the one that fits into their life without a lot of fuss. Really, the most important thing here is to make this a decision you make together, if at all possible. Talk about it. Look at the full cost, because there's usually a monthly fee. And always, always remember, a GPS tracker is not a substitute for human care and connection. It's just one tool in a much bigger safety plan. And so that really leaves us with this final thought. As technology gets more and more woven into caregiving, the challenge for all of us is to make sure we're using it not just to keep people alive, but to help them live with purpose, with freedom, and with dignity.